Yeah, we'll start with that for right now. And so, yeah. And by the way, I hit record just in case in case we get some outtake gems for our Patreon one day.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, boys
It's us.
and girls.
We're back.
And women. Yeah, and someday we should come up with a catchy intro like, hey, I don't know. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is the news.
There you go. That's something. We'll workshop it.
I have a feeling that was used somewhere before, but we'll take it to a focus group and see what they think of it.
So this is episode 2 of X Radio X, and X-Ray. The first one is probably by the time I would imagine this is listenable, the first one would be listenable too. Otherwise, we're in some sort of space-time continuum warp. So,
it's 2020 as we record this, so 2 might come before 1. We don't know anymore.
Anything can happen. So we have 1 in the can. We're working on number 2, and today I think I had a couple things I wanted to discuss with you that could take a long time, or could take a little bit of time. So I'd like to start off with and this is going to segue a little bit into our history, our past life careers as radio people. I just wanted to talk a little bit about why we, or specifically me, and then you'll be able to talk about your side of the coin, but why I hate is such a strong word, but I don't like the state of radio as it is today. It makes me sad. It
does make me sad too, and this is probably a much meatier subject than us talking about me buying my first pair of non-work related boots in a long time.
We're totally gonna get to that too.
Okay, good. I didn't want to leave that out because people really want to know about why I bought some boots.
Oh,
and
no,
it's not work related at all.
You hang on to your boots because we are coming back around full circle to those. But I wanted to take a quick history leap to go back in time for a moment. You and I were both college radio DJs back in 65 years ago.
We were 105 years ago. Yeah.
And after that, we kind of segued into commercial radio, and we took different paths to get there. And I ended up working at a station that was, I think probably in hindsight, gave me a lot more freedom than I should have had. I got to mix songs in. I got to really kind of create my own segments and the kind of things that were fun about college radio. I almost got to do the same in commercial radio. And that was great. And it was a really good learning experience. And I enjoyed it. It was not always fun, but it wasn't something I dreaded, So I did that for a while.
And just so people know, you were working at what I would consider, we're not going to get into, at this point in our podcasting career, we won't name drop the stations we worked at, except for the college one. I have no problem name dropping that one because nobody got paid, so it doesn't matter.
And plus, then people can do their own little detective work and try to determine if one of us is actually Howard Stern.
Yes, and if one of us isn't.
It's not me.
It's not me either. But I would say the station you're talking about that you worked at was what I would consider an album-oriented rock/adult contemporary station.
Yes. Yep.
Mm-hmm. It played like Heat of the Moment by Asia and Celine Dion.
Right. And that was, I think, a credit to the program director there. And I think that he was a little more AOR than he was, Delilah. And so... I know. So the music was allowed to kind of get a little more eclectic to a slight degree. So anyway, it was fun. I got to put in songs. I got to mix stuff around. I got to go past the top of the hour. As long as I got my commercial breaks in and things were relatively on top for the salespeople, it was hunky dory.
Yep.
So, cut to a few years later. I live in Las Vegas. I work at a alternative rock station. And this is exciting for me because that's in my wheelhouse. That's the music that I would prefer.
That was like the goal.
Yeah, right.
One of the goals, I should say.
Right. So I'm excited, happy. I drive all the way across town to go to this station, eager to do my stuff, to show everybody that I know what I'm doing. And over the course of the years that I was in radio, and now it's pretty much normal, but you were allowed to voice track your programming. So if you had to leave early, you could voice track an hour and go somewhere. If you had to do a remote, so you were driving to a different site, you could basically plug in segments. For those of you who don't follow radio, you could plug in segments and it would sound like you were there. You could say, hey, that was Michael Bolton, and here comes Celine Dion, and off you go. It sounded like you were there, but you really weren't there. So.
And yes, that happened. Michael Bolton to Celine Dion. I know. It's hard to imagine, folks, but it did.
So the college station, or not the college station, the alternative station that I started working at in Vegas was very, it was strongly suggested that you voice track your show. Because then if you messed up, you could redo things and you could really get your timing right. And there was no sense in being 100% live because things could go wrong. And if you voice track, then every time you went on the mic, it was intentional, it was purposeful, it was within a certain time frame of 30 seconds or less or something. And so I was like, all right, but I really kind of like taking phone calls, and I like talking about what I was doing today and what I was going to do the next day, and talking about the different artists and trying to make up fun facts about them that weren't really true. And that wasn't really encouraged. And so I was like, all right, but I'm still, at a rock station in a big market, and this is awesome. So a few weeks in, I start to realize, well, you know what? I'm not allowed to mix any songs in. Like I think that they allowed us to change one song a show. You could change one thing. And it had to be a song that was within, 20 seconds or so of the song that you were replacing, so it wouldn't throw off the clock. I get that.
We have commercials to get in. I know that.
You have commercials to get in.
I know there's music to be played, folks, but we have commercials that the people want to hear.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, not as fun, but okay. And then, I was told, hey, listen, we don't do instant requests because that would throw off the clock. So what you do is you record the calls when they come in. So, Johnny calls in and says, hey, it's my birthday, and all I wanted to hear was, Sublime. If you'll just play Sublime, it would make my birthday. And so I would say, on the recording, all right, here's Sublime. Cut the recording, hang up with Johnny, leave that little recording stashed away for hours or perhaps weeks later when Sublime came up. Then I would plug it in, and you'd hear me taking a call from Johnny saying, oh, it's my birthday, and all I want to hear is Sublime. And to everyone else in the world, I was playing Johnny's request on his birthday. But to Johnny, if he happened to be listening, I was playing his request a month later just because I felt like
jerk.
it. Yeah. And it sounded like I was playing it instantly for him. But to that one guy, it was obviously a sham. And so, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And because you can't really go out and do really long form kind of segments where you talk about something and rant about something and give your genuine opinion that might take longer than 25 to 30 seconds before your commercial break starts, I kind of got just into just voice tracking. I was like, well, might as well just voice track. There's no live feeling. There's no interacting. I might as well just always voice track. And they were totally fine with that. However, the other side of the commercial radio coin, and I don't know if you had to do this, but I got to meet with my station manager once a week and go over my shows and listen to each thing I had to say and have him tell me what I said that wasn't cool.
Man, this sounds fantastic. Yeah. I personally can say that I think that happened a couple times in my commercial radio career. My commercial radio career kind of took a little bit of a different track than yours did, but we'll get to that. But the short answer is, which usually I don't have a short answer in my repertoire. That's why I wasn't very good at commercial radio. Is no, that really didn't happen to me.
Yeah, so maybe it was just me. Maybe I just wasn't good at it. But I mean, everyone at the station had to do it, and so I know that it might have just been a very micromanaging manager, and that's fine. But to sit down with somebody who you're not really close friends with and have them say, what you just said there, that's your crutch. You say coming up. You say it too much. So stop saying coming up.
So here's a thesaurus.
No, I mean, sometimes he might say this instead. But then you go on the air and you're hyper aware of every single crutch or, segue that you're comfortable saying or that comes naturally. And you have to change the way you talk, like the way that feels right. You have to make sure, okay, I can't say this.
You need to stop being you and become commercial radio.
I know that in a week I'm going to be sitting with this guy and he's going to tell me, you say the word song too much. You have to change it to tune, or you have to make
Diddy.
You have to say Diddy. and then Diddy's going to be your crutch and you're going to have to say Puff Daddy. I mean, you're going to have
the copyright people are going to call and say Diddy's already taking.
Exactly.
If you could stop saying that, that would be great.
So that wasn't fun, and it took a lot of the fun out of it. And so then you have a guy who comes into a building and sits at a computer and doesn't even listen to the songs. You listen to the last 15 seconds and the first 10 seconds of the next one. You have to have a certain amount of things to say that aren't really relevant. Basically what you heard and what you're going to hear and what's coming up. But you can't say coming up. And then at the end of the week, someone talks about it to you and says, well, here's what you should fix. And the fact that you had no creative control and the fact that you really were just a babysitter for a computer, Yep. And that part to me made me really dislike the operational aspect of radio. And then listening to radio over my entire life, I started to realize, also in working in radio, that you hear, because the programming director makes such a fuss about what plays on the radio, you hear the same songs in a pretty much cyclical, 4-hour or so rotation, depending on how popular the song is. And so even if you're listening to a cool station, you're going to hear the same cool songs pretty frequently.
Until they're not cool anymore.
But you're going to hear them pretty frequently in almost
and there's
the
a
same
psychology
order.
To that, of course. There's a reason you want to do that in the world of building a clock and a cycle.
Sure.
And it's based on, there's a lot of, this is the part that I like and don't like at the same time. Sorry, not trying to take over your thing here.
Yeah, no, please.
Is there's a psychology to people only listen for so long.
Right.
And at certain periods of time, they're listening for certain things. That's why when you're watching the morning news, you see weather constantly, because when it comes to morning news, people care about the news, but they really want to know what it's going to be like when they drive to work. That's the number one reason people watch the morning news.
Fair enough. But I would argue that if somebody was driving to work at the same time every day and they were listening to Hate Me by Blue October almost at the same time every day, you'd start to think, well, this guy isn't really, aren't there other Blue October songs, or isn't there anything else?
No, their album's one song long.
They had 2 songs, but at the time that was the one. So anyway, that coupled with the fact that there was no real variety, even in a station that was promoting how much variety they had, it was all pretty much the same group of songs. And then, plugged in here and there, you'd hear a rare one, but it wasn't, it was certainly the exception. And so that made me, when I listened to radio, I listened to with new ears, and I was like, yeah, this station, there's nobody there. This is all fake. Everything's fake. And I hate it.
Yep. So, I'm here to tell you folks that outside of morning drive time and maybe afternoons, there isn't anybody in that station besides salespeople.
Right.
And generally, if they're good salespeople, they're not inside that station either.
Yeah. Right. They should be out. So then, cut to last year or just before after the start of last year, and we go up to the old stomping grounds, and you listen to that station, which was, if that station could somehow be a commercial station and make money, it would be the dream.
It would
at
be.
least when we were there.
Or what did we call it? We called it the big idea.
The big idea. It would be the dream. So diverse, so eclectic. Every DJ had almost a completely different playlist from the person before, and their playlists changed from week to week too. They didn't always. I mean, we played some of the same songs, but don't get me wrong. But
oh yeah, everybody had their favorites.
Yeah.
For instance, during Thrash and Trash Tuesday, it was a unwritten rule at times, and became a written rule at certain periods of times, that nobody played "Snap Your Fingers, Snap Your Neck" by Prong.
It's
just because at that point in time, yeah, the song, it's a great song, it's a catchy song, but it was everywhere. So they're like, no, you don't play. No, we're not playing it. Nope. No. We'd even tell people when they called and requested it, it's like, hey, can you play that "Snap Your Fingers, Snap Your Neck" song by Prong? It's like, no. Do you like any other songs?
Any other song, and we will play it.
Oh, you picked one by Metallica. Oh, you have a very broad metal musical.
That's one of the reasons. That's probably the only reason I never called in on Thrash and Trash Tuesdays, because my metal knowledge would have been mocked for sure. Like, yeah. Hey, isn't Bon Jovi? That's metal, right? No, it's not.
Well, it depends who you talk to and when you talk to them, because now we're getting deep into it. But there was certain 80s metal periods.
Yeah.
During Thrash and Trash Tuesday, but that's a different subject for a different time.
So
back to why Matt is disillusioned about working in radio. Go
back to why radio is horrible and no one should listen to it. Because now you go to that area, you listen to Radio X, and there's nobody there. First off, nobody is there. We used to have to turn on and off the transmitter when we came in to do a show. We had to physically power on the transmitter and play the legal ID
instructions.
Yeah, and
by written, I mean printed off on a dot matrix printer.
We had to be there, and we had and people cheered when they heard someone sign on the station, and myself included. I would get so excited. There's somebody there, and you could call in, and yeah, they probably would be annoyed to hear from you because it would be 3 a.m. and you'd be like, "Hey, will you play Bumblebee Tuna?" And they would be like, I'm a blues guy or whatever. But now
I'm playing the blues now because I'm up at 3 a.m.
So now nobody's there, and it's all the same music, and whoever programs it, I don't know that there is any rhyme or reason, but it certainly doesn't have,
which is kind of cool.
It is, but I think, I'll even say that I might be too old for the station now. It's possible that I have aged past it, because I can't listen now 3 songs and keep going. Like I used to be able to say, you know what? If this song I'm not liking, the next one will be good. Or the next one will be something I've never heard before and I'll be into it. And 3 songs in, I'm back to, okay, maybe I don't like this one, but I like the last one, so I'm going to like the next one. Now 3 or 4 songs in, and I'm like, I'm changing the station. I'm turning it off. And that's what's happened to even my favorite college radio station. So ladies and gentlemen, radio sucks.
Radio sucks. Don't listen to it. Podcasts all the way. That's what you want.
Thank you.
I'll be signing autographs at the door.
So anyway,
I because I was also with you on our great foray back to, and I don't mind saying where we were at up there. It's, we were up at WUPX, Radio X, as it was known to us in college, and to many other people that have went through college at Northern Michigan University up in the great city of Marquette.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there'll be some people who would know what we're talking about, and other people like have no idea where they don't. There's contingents of people in the United States that think the Upper Peninsula, which is where Marquette is part of Wisconsin and or Canada.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it sounds like both of those places, but it's part
either
of Michigan.
Yeah, it could be either. Everyone's a Packers fan, and it's very cold, so it makes sense that you would think either one of those things.
Right. But just for a little Michigan history, at one point in time, Copper Harbor, which is up in the UP, was almost the state capital. So there.
Really?
Man, I hope I have that history right. but I'm pretty sure.
It's fascinating.
I'm fairly certain I'm right on that one.
I believe
because
it.
at one point in time, the copper industry was just monstrous, and the mines up there were going gangbusters.
That makes sense.
So there was a lot of money up there.
Yeah. So it's horrible now. No offense to all the people that do show up there, but I let's just say I don't hate you personally. I just hate everything that you're doing.
No, I don't know why anybody would take that as a personal attack at all.
It's not personal.
It's not personal. I just don't like anything about you or what that you do. So that's fine. But you're all right, I guess. Maybe.
But they could do so much more. Like I don't even see why anyone would want to do it now, the way that it's set up now. Why
work
would
in radio? No, I don't.
Yeah.
I honestly,
you get free CDs, maybe. That's it.
Matthew? They're like, what's a CD?
Oh, that's right.
Where do you play that on your iPhone or your Android or whatever you have now?
Nobody likes that either. Darn it.
No. Is this CD? Is that a new group on Spotify? I'm not sure. Do they have?
So my one reason I had is gone now. There is no reason. And there's no reason, like, I think it's considered a student organization up there.
Right.
And I would rather do the underwater, what are they doing? The underwater welding or something? I would rather do that.
I thought it was like underwater kickboxing or something. We walked through.
It might be.
Yeah, people are like, they've gone off the tracks now. What are they talking about? So
it's underwater Dungeons and Dragons.
Underwater. Yes. You can play Magic the Gathering as long as your cards are covered in, you run them through the machine where it covers them on plastic. I don't know what the hell that thing's called.
Yeah.
And then you can take them underneath the water with you, and you can cast Magic Missile.
It's a small club, but they are very, very into it. They're deep into it.
One of the greatest PSAs ever written. I just wish I could find it. We have it somewhere. We listen to it. Anyways, PSA is a public service announcement, kids, in case you don't know what that means.
But see, that's the thing. Like, we would hang out there. We would make goofy commercials and PSAs and liners and you know, make fun of each other and get on each other's shows and do crazy stuff. And now it's just like, I'll talk for 5 seconds in between a song and play another song, but I won't actually be there, and I'm just going to go about my day, and nobody listens. I mean, I don't know. Probably.
Well, I think something like that, like the college radio experience, which is what we had. One, as much as I hate to say this, it was a different time.
It was a different time. It was the
music. Yeah, music wasn't as readily available as it is now, or media in general. You actually had to make an effort to find or listen to something or be a part of something. I guess now you still have to make an effort, but things have changed. Like, people are not into these. This kind of goes along with, and we've totally gone off track here, but this goes along with another podcast that I listen to, one of my favorites, and it's called Going Off Track.
Okay.
With a couple guys out of New Jersey, New York area. And they were talking about scenes and how scenes don't really exist anymore. Like they used to. Like, a scene that was like your community. Yeah. And it usually in what we're talking about revolved around a musical style or a few groups in an area. Like, the one guy is he's Benny Horowitz. He was the drummer for the Gaslight Anthem. He's the co-host on this show.
Oh, gotcha.
The other guy's name is Brad. I can't remember his last name. And he was the guitar player in the Goops, which is a mid '90s
Gwyneth Paltrow's band. I know.
I think he'd still be playing if it was Gwyneth Paltrow's band. They'd be opening up for her ex-husband with, I can't remember what band.
Coldplay.
It was. I hate Coldplay. I shouldn't say hate. That's a very strong word. Not a fan. We'll just go with that.
You don't hate him, but everything he does is horrible.
Yes, I don't hate him, but everything he does is horrible.
Yeah.
Especially his music.
I understand.
So they were talking about in one of their podcasts with one of their guests about how, like, where they came up, like, the New Jersey hardcore scene was like big, and the East Coast hardcore scene was big through the '80s and through the '90s, and they were naming off all these bands. I knew some of them, not other ones. Being a kid from mid Michigan, it was, I wasn't as in tune to that. And to be quite honest, at that period of time, I was probably I was in my transitional phase from my '80s speed
to Seals and Crofts
and hair metal to way more of a punk alternative college radio type guy who is severely becoming a music snob and and really letting everybody know about it at that point in time. But I believe, to relate that back, like the college radio scene, it's just not what it was. There's not as much of in my opinion, a reason to be a part of that anymore, because one, how many people are going into radio anymore?
None of them.
None. If you're smart, you probably wouldn't. I mean, unless you're into sales and marketing, it's a tool to sell things. You just might sell it around alternative music, or sell it around country music, or sell it around adult contemporary music. But it's just a tool to sell something, as most media is anymore. So one, you probably don't have as many people going into that anymore.
Right.
And so that's not driving people to want to know how to do it. You don't need a college radio station anymore to find out. I mean, MTV kind of suffers the same thing, if you even know what that is anymore. You don't need an alt rock station like a college radio station, even in a city like Marquette, because you have YouTube, you have Spotify, you have all of these other avenues where you can just go, I want to see what's out there, and go look yourself. You don't have to wait for somebody to tell you anymore.
And I was reading about that I think the music discovery that people, the different places people get music discovery. That's where I found probably some of my favorite bands is from college radio. And
I can agree with that.
Still listen to, most of them are things that I found from college radio. But now I think someone did a study, and between like 18 to 25-year-olds, I think the number one thing that people use for music discovery is YouTube.
Yep.
And that's like,
that makes sense.
Like 85% of them get their music from YouTube. And I think it was either 50 or less than 50% get it from radio. And I'm surprised it's actually as high as 50%.
Yeah, I wonder where these people are that they're discovering new music on a radio station anymore. Maybe there is some local gems out there. Like there's one I listen to. I mean, I'm based out of mid Michigan, but there's the radio station I listen to the most is out of Vermont.
Oh,
it's called WEQX, and they're online. I listen to them online. That's the radio station I listen to 9 times out of 10 if I'm going to listen to a standard radio station, or something along those lines.
Is that because it plays music you like, or because it plays music that you are interested in hearing? Because there's a subtle difference, but there's a difference.
It plays both. And they have actual personalities. I'm sure they voice track some of it. Every radio station does. But I can tell that there are people live and in the studio from time to time because of what they're talking about and the way that they're talking about it. They're not talking about it in a 30-second chunk.
Right.
Some of their breaks go on for a minute or two.
Right.
And they actually talk about the local place that they're advertising. Like I don't remember the name of the place, but there's a place downtown in the city they're in, and they were talking about the brew pub that they go to, and actually the person who is on and the person coming on after them were actually talking about a shared experience that they had there watching a band.
See, I love that. And you could do that back in the day. You could do that. And now it doesn't exist. Now,
and it makes me.
You know what's funny? The only time that I hear that now, the station I listen to is also it's an alternative music station, but it's a public radio. It's they have to do fundraisers and everything, and every time they do a fundraiser and they have all the different personalities on, like trying to get you to donate money, that's when they do those little, hey, remember when we went to this, and hey, you're really good at doing, I love your show, and they like engage with each other. But that's the only time that I ever hear that is when they're raising money.
Yeah, I agree with that. Radio anymore is not what it, and I hate to say it, I don't think it ever will be.
No, I don't think
I
it
think
will
the
either.
industry would literally have to be blown up down to nothing and have just local people start doing it again.
But you can get your stuff other places. You can get your music
Yeah.
from YouTube, apparently, which I don't really. Do people listen to that like a radio? Like I watch videos, but I don't.
Oh my gosh, I use YouTube to listen to
For
music
music.
constantly.
Yeah.
It just
So,
happens to be videos along with it, but I use it to like we'll say I'm have a Friday evening, I'm home, and this is a little insight into Jason's life.
ooh,
Friday evening, I'm home. I like to do my cleaning in my
mhm,
house.
sure.
Some of it on Friday evening, some of it on Saturday morning,
Okay.
and I will come home. We'll get
Sounds
dinner done,
good. Mhm.
and I will turn on YouTube, and I'll just start picking songs on a playlist.
Nice.
We'll just say the Dropkick Murphys is one that I
Okay.
play a lot. Lots of heavy metal stuff to lots of punk stuff, alternative stuff, and I'll get on like a certain bent that night,
Mhm.
and I'll just play like a bunch of metalcore songs in a row while I'm vacuuming.
I will.
But
I could see you doing that because I do notice when I am on YouTube and I play some sort of like my kids are into OK Go, their videos, their music videos, and whenever you play an OK Go video, then down at the bottom of the screen, it's like here are some things that are kind of similar, and those do make me sometimes jump down the rabbit hole of I've never heard of this band and they have weird videos and let's check this out. So I can see why someone might find musical discovery that way, but it's still I don't know. I mean, I guess you are seeking it out versus someone just offering it and you happening to tune in. You know what I mean? You're looking for songs in a
yeah,
way more so than radio just puts music out there and hopefully a ton of people happen to hear it and some people like it and some people don't and then the next song and off you go. But you get
well,
that.
back in the day, radio, your music discovery was the local radio station
Yeah.
or your parents' record collection. Like,
Right.
thankfully, my parents had a cool record collection that
Yes.
spanned anywhere from Motown to AC/DC, Led Zeppelin,
Mm-hmm.
and pop and stuff in between. I don't think there was any country in there. I think that was by design, but
I think my mom is why I like Johnny Mathis.
I couldn't name a Johnny Mathis song if you put a gun to my head.
I'm this close to starting to sing a Johnny Mathis song, but I won't.
Oh, thank you.
So you get your music then from YouTube. You get your banter from podcasts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get the two different things that radio used to offer. Now you get them in just two different places, and you get them in like full concentration. Like the people listening to this just want to hear people talk with no interruption for a long period of time.
Oh, well, then you've tuned into the right place.
Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness there are people like that out there.
If there's one thing I can do, folks, it's talk and talk and talk and talk. And maybe if you listen and you're lucky, I'll even say something semi-intelligent and or important.
Oh, you might learn a thing or two.
You might learn a thing or two about me, my favorite subject. So if that's what you tuned in to learn about, well, it's the master class.
Yeah.
But
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, my journey into radio, as we'll call it, because I think that's where we kind of started this. And so I'm just going to kind of circle us back in here because we'll just keep going off and going off and going off. And next thing you know, we'll be talking about David Bryan
from
Bon Jovi. And people will be like, is this the first episode or the second? I'm not sure what's happening here.
Do they talk about him every episode?
Yeah. We're going to make him popular. We're going to make him talk to us at some point.
Oh, that'll be great.
That will never happen, by the way. But to circle us completely back to the beginning. Yeah. So we talked about Matt's journey into radio and why he got into it. Mine is similar. Well, almost exactly the same and not even similar. Growing up personally, like the whole reason I wanted to get into radio and things like that is because that's what I did growing up. I listened to radio.
Oh,
I mean, I watched
You
TV,
were a DJ when you were a baby?
Yeah, I was cutting those records from side to side.
It's too bad I couldn't hear that from where I lived.
Yeah,
could have totally.
I mean, you only lived an hour from where I grew up. I don't know what the problem was.
I did listen to Saginaw stations, so it's weird.
I listened to Flint stations when they came in. But so, growing up, my mom listened to a lot of talk radio. When she was at home momming, raising kids, running a at-home daycare, those type of things, as moms did back in the day.
Yeah.
I assume a lot of them probably still do, but this is what my mom did for a period of time until she went back to work. And she always told me she listened to talk radio. And let me tell you, folks, that talk radio was way different in the early to mid 80s than it is today.
Yeah.
Talk radio was very local,
right?
Because AM stations were not big. They were not, and I mean, they were big as in signal, but they weren't the big conservative talkers that they are now.
No.
So my mom listened to a lot of, AM talk radio because, as she put it to me, I was in a house with 4 of my own kids. I'm the oldest of 4. And then I had other people's children there that I was, doing daycare with. So I needed other adult voices in the house.
Yes, I totally get that.
So she's like, I listen to talk radio. And at that point in time, it wasn't all political based. It was very, they had stuff about cooking, and they had the news. You could count on the news at, 10, 20, 30, 45. And then they'd, repeat the clock, the radio clock, and, the weather. But they would have local pieces. They would have personalities who would talk about different things. They would have local people on talking about local things.
Right.
She's like, and did I always pay attention? No, but it was another adult voice in the house with all of these kids running around. And from that aspect, that I'm a parent now, so are you.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Totally get it.
Yeah.
That's why I like podcasts, because I love to listen to music, but I also want to hear people, when you're all by yourself, I like to talk to other people. So a podcast is kind of like having a conversation with somebody who just talks more than me.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't feel the pressure of having to contribute. You can just be a part of it without having to say anything.
Yeah. So growing up, I listened to that because it was just on in the house. But my parents also listened to a lot of music. Like, you may remember Solid Gold Saturday Night.
Sure. A little bit.
A little bit. Okay. In the mid-Michigan area where I live, we had a station. Oldies 96 is what it was called. And on Saturday nights, they would play Solid Gold Saturday Night.
Yes.
And it was all the old songs from the 50s, 60s, early 70s, because this was the mid 80s. So the 70s weren't that far away.
No.
And so I would listen to those guys, and they would, be from across the globe and to your ear, and, all of that cliche radio stuff you used to hear back in the day.
Right.
But that's what I listened to.
Yep.
And then I would listen to the local stations because I didn't have cable yet. And I lived in a small town, so it's not like there was a music scene to get things from.
No.
So whatever was at the local Meijer in the record section or on the radio was what I was discovering. Then I moved in, musically, I started moving into my mom and dad's record collection, which, had a lot of stuff in it. My favorite album at that point in time was Pink Floyd's The Wall, still one of my favorites today.
Good.
And then my aunts and uncles. And this was the mid 80s. So my aunt and uncle's record collections were Judas Priest, Van Halen.
Really?
Boston, Cyndi Lauper, Michael Jackson.
Nice.
So I had like one set of my aunts and uncles lived in like suburbia, and the other set of my aunts and uncles lived in the city. So I would go into like my one side of the family who lived in the city, and it was a predominantly African-American neighborhood. My grandparents were one of the few white families left in this neighborhood. So I heard a lot of hip hop.
Nice.
At a young age.
Yeah.
That growing up in the small town that I lived in, not a lot of people were listening to.
So you got a really good mix of just everything.
So between talk radio and all these different record collections I could get my hands on, I had this really eclectic idea of what I liked at a young age. And also probably the biggest radio influence I ever had, this is before I even got to college, was Ernie Harwell from the Detroit Tigers.
Okay. Yeah.
I listened to Tigers baseball all the time. It was my favorite thing to listen to. And so that was probably my biggest radio influence was Ernie Harwell at Detroit Tigers baseball.
I could see that.
So, that's growing up. And of course you have your growing years and the different music phases you go through. And, but I got to college like you did. I think we arrived at Northern the same year.
I feel like you might be older than me, but it was probably.
Oh, I am older than you, yes. But I think we got to Northern at the same year. Right. That's a whole different story, Matt.
I just want everyone to know that you're older than me.
Yeah, it's not by a lot. It's not like I'm 100 and he's 75.
No,
if you look at our hair, though, it looks like I'm 100 and he's 75. I'm a silver fox, folks, just in case you were wondering.
So that was around 95 or 6, something like that, right?
It was, let's see, I graduated. It was like 95. I want to say it was the fall of 95 when I got there.
Yep.
And I actually I got to college up there, and I remember because I was an engineering major before I arrived up at Northern.
Oh,
yeah, and because my parents wanted me to get a good job and be able to afford things like a house and a life and my bills.
Yeah,
and
smart parents.
I got up to Northern, and this is before cell phones. Everybody, in email was just kind of really a new thing. It was just coming up.
Yes.
I remember getting on the phone after going through admissions, calling my mother and say, "Hey, guess what? I switched my major to broadcasting. I'll talk to you later. Bye." Click, hung up the phone. That's how my mom found out. My mom and dad found out I was not going to be an engineer anymore. I was going to be professionally poor the rest of my life.
Yeah, but so fulfilled.
So fulfilled, yeah. So then I didn't know what I was going to do. I'm like, how does one go about becoming part of radio? And actually, it was my roommate who, since I didn't ask if I could use his name, I won't.
We'll call him Rex.
Yeah, Rex. His name was almost that cool, at least the way he spelled it. Anyways, so Rex took me, he asked me, he's like, "Hey, do you want to go up to this college radio station and apply for a job? We could be like metal DJs," because we both had a shared interest in heavy metal music. Mm-hmm. And I said, sure, why not? I went, we filled out an application. We did 1 day of training with, I can't even remember the guy's name.
Rudy.
It wasn't Rudy, and it wasn't Mark.
No.
It was another guy who loved the psychedelic furs, which I understand why. They're pretty cool. And not just a song from Pretty in Pink, everybody. Yeah. The other psychedelic furs songs.
Yeah.
And he trained us, and off we were. We were on Thrash and Trash Tuesday. That was like our first gig, 12 to 3 on Tuesday. I guess technically it's Wednesday morning, but midnight to 3. Tuesday, Thrash and Trash Tuesday.
Right.
That's where Jace the Ace was born.
And you could play literally anything that didn't have a bad word in it, and you could even play those if you bothered to make a radio edit. Like, there was nobody saying, you know what, please don't play a Kiss song again after another Kiss song. There was nobody telling you that,
and nobody would ever dare tell me that. I love Kiss.
Right. But that's the thing, like, you had,
I mean, it was so cool. And I know other stations have done this, but at this point in my life, I'd never heard a radio station who did this. On Halloween, we just played all Black Sabbath.
Right.
So for 3 hours, the whole show, we just played Black Sabbath for Halloween.
And
people loved it.
A lot of people loved it, and there were a few people who didn't. But that's okay. Yeah. Like, that's the thing. You just find another station for that amount of time, and then you come back. You
come back at 3 a.m. when we were done, and it's some guy playing, I don't know, the Dead Milkmen, Bauhaus. Name your not radio songs, and it was probably being played there. And even radio friendly songs were being played there. It was all based on whoever was doing it at the time. And just like you, that's when I totally fell in love with this idea of, hey, can I make this a career?
Right.
Being completely naive, not knowing how the industry worked, how any of this stuff worked. I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to just sit at a radio station and play cool music and talk to people on the phone, and somebody will give me money for it.
There was a time.
Oh, young Jason.
There was a time, and this was early on, but there was a time when I literally thought, I can get a job at this station because when they hear the type of music mix I put together, they're going to know that I belong on the station. Not even thinking the fact that they don't care what music I want to play. They have that all figured out before I get there. You know what I mean? Like, in commercial radio, it doesn't matter what my favorite songs are. It's all it's all pre-done by somebody who, either has a love for the music or just has a love for how to mix tempos with other tempos and genres with subgenres and make it fit into an hour format. Like
Yep.
It's something.
And I've met enough program directors that, the whole idea of that you're a program director for a specific radio station with a specific format because you just really know the format and love it.
Yeah.
That's like 1 out of every 100 program directors.
Right.
Most program directors are like anybody who goes into management. Mm-hmm. I have an end goal I need to do. How am I going to get there?
Yes. I have to fit this many commercials. I have to make sure that there are this many breaks, and these songs have to fit this many hours of, time.
And nobody says anything too controversial.
Right. And oftentimes those people are program directors for multiple stations, different genres. Yep. So obviously they're not with their exclusive favorite. They're playing whatever is popular for that genre. And
like this,
again, no fault against them.
No, it's a job. I mean, somebody's got to do it.
Is horrible.
And I will bet you dimes to dollars if you took most of those folks aside and said, we're going to pay you the same amount of money.
Oh, yeah.
At the station that you're at.
Mm-hmm.
Same disc jockeys who are here with you. And calling them disc jockeys is really funny anymore because there's generally not a disc to be seen unless it's a hard drive.
Right.
And you guys here's the format. We want to be adult contemporary. Pick the songs. Have a good time. We'll see you in a week. And they would throw out their playlist. Maybe not at the first week because they'd be like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do? I haven't had to do this in so long. And then they would start having a good time with it.
Yeah, then they love it. The station I listen to locally here every year does their, and I think I told you about this, they do their top, this year it was obviously the top 2020 songs of all time in order from the listeners' votes. We're starting with, the 2020th most requested song of all time is this, and we're playing them back to back through all the different shows. Everyone's going to play this countdown until we get to number one. And it was the most bizarre mix of music, but I was captivated. I was like, I have to listen to this because it's so different than what anyone else is doing.
Yeah. Because I don't need to hear You Shook Me All Night Long again for the 430,000th time in my life on
good, though.
A rock station. Insert your city here. X95.4.
But don't tell AC/DC that because that's what they keep doing with all their new albums.
Don't get me started on AC/DC. Because one, I love AC/DC like I love Kiss. So we can fight in the driveway about this later. Yeah. But I made the comparison to my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Which, when you're in your 40s, it's weird calling somebody your girlfriend.
Yep.
But do you say life partner? We'll get into that later.
It might be weirder, but go ahead.
Yeah. So I said, AC/DC wrote a great song. And then they wrote that song for 40 years. Absolutely. And I love that song. And I'm going to keep listening to that song because it's a good song.
Yeah. That's 100% true. I think if you take the formula for AC/DC is take some sort of cliche or catchphrase and make it like a rhyme and add some kicking guitars and some big drums to it, and then make it 12 times and put it on an album.
And it's awesome.
Yeah.
And you get a 12 or a 6 or a Miller Lite.
Yeah.
I can't do a 12er as much anymore as I used to, but get yourself a 6er of insert your favorite beer here.
Right. And
have a good time sitting in your garage.
I have no complaints about it. I don't know why, because I think that there are other things that if I heard over and over, I'd be like, come on, do something different. But AC/DC does it so well. I have zero complaints. They can write the same song 3,000 times and I will still tap my foot every time it comes on.
Yep. I totally agree. Their worst song is their best song because it's the same song. And that's consistency, folks. And that is what a lot of people can't do. And they hit the magic bullet. I don't know what they did, but I love it.
I'm just realizing we did talk about this last week too.
Did we talk about
A
AC/DC
little
last week?
bit, I think we did, but that's
Oh
okay.
man,
That's okay. Let's get back
I
to
do
your
love
life.
AC/DC. It'll probably come up again in another couple weeks. It just happens. I love AC/DC.
So Jace met AC/DC, and they told him to get out of radio, and that's how he wrapped up.
And then here we are. They said, "Do a podcast, boy. That's your calling." And I saw the mountaintop, and no, that's not what happened
I
at
wish
all.
I could do that voice without hurting my throat. I would totally.
No, I can't. I won't do that to you guys. But like you, we were in college radio. I graduated. I left, and I went and got a job, part-time job in radio, a few different places around in mid-Michigan. I worked in a couple places in the Upper Peninsula, but more places in mid-Michigan. And it wasn't bad.
Sure.
But it was definitely, I just got there and I was like, this is not what I thought was going to happen.
Exactly. It's not torture.
And I think that happens in every profession. Like if you're going to become a doctor, when you start becoming a doctor, you're going to save everybody and you're going to create a new way to put new hearts in people and brain transplants and all kinds of stuff. You're going to cure the common cold, which in the world of coronavirus, that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
for sure.
You get in there and you're like, oh crap, this is a job.
Yes, I think
there's
that's
job things that have to be done.
I think it's important to say that. I think it's important to say that it could be a lot worse. You could be shoveling shit, or you could be, carrying dead bodies places.
Have you seen what they pay some people to shovel shit?
but because it's not good. Because no one wants to do it. That's the thing. Like it's more of the destroyed expectations aspect that makes working in radio not cool, versus that it's a super easy job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not hard.
It's not going to be on that Dirty Job show. It's so easy and mostly boring. And that's the thing. It has so much potential for fun, and then the reality of fun level is much, much smaller.
And I don't know if, it has the potential for fun, but it has the potential to be interesting. It has the potential to be engaging. And the ironic part, I think irony is the good term to use here, is when I went from college radio to corporate radio, they pushed, we need to have a local personality. We need to do all of those things that I said, but they only let like 2 people do it. Everybody else, here's your script, shut up, kid, read it, fit it in the break, move on to the next thing.
Yeah. Right. That's true. Like morning drive people, they get a little more flexibility. That's true. And the people who end up getting, syndicated, they can do, but they still have to appease.
There's still a formula.
Their stations, and if they say, I'm going to do if Delilah all of a sudden wanted to talk for 45 minutes about the shoes that she bought, other stations would be like, I'm not paying for Delilah anymore, because we could have put 6 commercials in during that time that she was talking about her shoes. And so we
want to hear why John wants to get back with Mary, and Mary doesn't want to hear it from John. That's Delilah in a nutshell, folks. If you didn't know, that's the sales pitch. Why they need an hour, I don't know, but that's Delilah. It right there. Yeah, there should be
I might get sued for saying that.
No, I give Delilah a lot of credit because she made a lot of money doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Not my cup of tea. I listened to it once just to figure out what Delilah was, because it was on a station that I was trying to get a job at.
Yeah, she was on right after me.
I was like, oh, yeah, I wasn't trying to get a job at your station, but mainly because I lived 8 hours away at the time.
Yeah, that would be hard.
But and I listened to Delilah and I went, oh, Lord, this I don't know if the pay is worth it. I'll just go work at Best Buy, which I did.
There you go.
But I stayed working at these commercial stations part-time for, 10, 11 years. I actually left mid-Michigan, went and worked in another city, not in radio, different job.
That's
came
right.
back.
I forgot you did that.
Yeah, came back, went back to the stations, called them up, because I can say all the things that I think are wrong with radio and everything. But I personally got very lucky that the people that I worked with, I worked at an AM talker. Now it's the conservative radio stuff. But, if you turn off the messaging, there's still people working there.
Yes.
And they're actually very nice people.
Yep.
But I left for a couple years. I came back. I literally called them up and said, hey, I'm back in town. Is there any job openings? They says, yeah, such and such happened. Can you come in next week? We'll train you on the board.
Wow.
And I said, sure. See you there. I mean, literally, that's what happened. And I got a job at this station after college. They wouldn't mind me saying it. It's WSGW in Saginaw. They're the big talker in the mid-Michigan area.
Yep.
And I left college. I was on a break, actually. I came down. I went in the studio. I literally walked in the front door and I says, hey, I'd like to put in an application to work here. The receptionist at the front door said, hold on a second. Called the program director from SGW. He walked me back there, sat me in one of the news because they had like separate recording areas for news. I was like, whoa, Fancy. This place is legit. Mm-hmm. And so I sat down in one and I felt pretty cool because I knew how to run the cart decks and everything on my own, do the recording. That's right. I said cart decks. And I laid down a rip and read, gave it to the program director. He says, I'll listen to it. I'll get back to you. Gave him my phone number, went back up to college. And this part I'm a little fuzzy on. It went one of two ways. I don't totally remember, but it went one of these two ways.
You might have had to sleep with the program director.
I did not. No, I did not do that at all. Didn't happen.
Okay.
No, I want to say what happened is my mother called me at work and said they left a message at the house. So I called the radio station, said, hey, this is Jason. I'm calling. And they said, oh yeah, you have a if you would like to work here, you have a job.
Wow.
It was a part-time job. I made next to no money
still,
but it was the number one AM station in mid-Michigan. That's my first job.
Yeah.
My first real radio job. And I was like, yeah.
There you go.
And I moved from Marquette back to Saginaw. I worked at WSGW and I worked there on and off for like 10 years.
Yeah.
And full-time never really panned out. My running joke in my current profession that I've been at for 20 years this is just my part-time job until I get my real job in radio. That's like the running joke in all of my reviews. But my discouragement in radio was not really at the AM station because I got to host a show. It was, I wouldn't say it was scripted. It was time scripted, but it wasn't scripted what I had to say.
Right.
So I kind of had it good as a part-timer. But I did intermittently work at different FM stations in the cluster because if you don't know how radio works these days, it's not usually a standalone station.
Right.
It's a station part of a cluster. So there's usually, 2 to 5 stations in a building, and each one has a different music genre or talk or whatever, sports. Mm-hmm. And so the salespeople have a lot of things to sell around. So I would go work at the FM stations, and it was the exact same experience you had, minus the being critiqued every week because
you were practically perfect.
Yeah. But it's a smaller market around here than you are in Vegas.
Yeah.
Vegas is a much bigger market. And so they take it, they'll tell you they take it a lot more seriously.
Yeah.
So my working at, music stations was a very similar experience, very disheartening and very much like, why are you doing it this way when it costs you no money to do it the other way? And a lot of the people you have working here have great personalities,
right?
And lots of fun things to talk about. And you're making them they're not phoning it in. You're literally making them phone it in and then complaining nobody will listen.
Right.
Well, they won't listen because there's nothing to listen to. I can get the same song. And now this started to be in the early 2000s when this stuff was going down. I could get all of those songs somewhere else. I don't need to listen to radio to know what the new song is.
Right.
I listen to radio because I want to be entertained.
Exactly. You want to engage at least halfway with something and the process. And this, next time we can talk about albums because I'm telling you, man, it's almost the same thing. If you start just buying songs piece by piece, you lose something that's the connective tissue that makes something really memorable and emotional and that gives you that engagement. It's the same with radio. Like if you don't at least listen to an album all the way through once, you're missing something that artist intended. And if you just get music without listening to, the backstory or hearing, an artist go into this other song or like there are so many things about radio that are there. It's just a, we're talking with my hands, but there's a connective tissue that you're missing. And,
Yeah.
and I think that when you have to do it all pre-recorded and you're not really there, you are just shattering or melting or whatever really tactile expression you want for that sort of connective tissue. You're just saying, here's some stuff. But now that you can get it from anywhere, that here's some stuff model doesn't work anymore. It's just,
Yep.
it's useless.
A good friend of mine who owns an ad agency here told me one time. He says he says I cut tons of radio ads.
Yeah.
He's like, and whatever, we cut a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's what they pay for.
Yeah.
And we, some we put a lot of effort into, some not so much. It all depends what they're after. He says, but local radio folks, you need to be local. You're not going to beat at this point in time, we had the conversation, you're not going to beat my iPod and playing music for me.
No,
it's just not going to happen.
No,
because everything I want to listen to is already there.
Yes.
So what are you doing to make me listen?
Right.
He's like, you're going to give me the same old people, same old structure that you've had for the past 30, 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, why would I tell my people who come to want to sell ads, why would I tell them to put it on your station? I'm going to have them put it here and there. And now with online advertising, when you work with, local drops for YouTube, because it happens. Lots of streaming stations, because they can tell by, IP address and things like that and provider where you're listening out of.
Which is creepy.
So if, I'm car dealership 1, 2, 3, 4,
mm-hmm.
why would I buy ads on the local radio station or TV station at that fact, unless it's morning time and you want to put it around the weather, which is where a majority of everything goes.
Right.
Why would I do that? I'm just going to spend the money and put it online because people are actively going there. You're not giving anybody an active reason to listen to your station.
No.
They're giving away, $4,000 a week. And then you look at the, some stations will be like, oh, your chance to win $1,000 a week. And then you get the fine print of, oh, that's one chance. They own 75 stations in the Midwest. So it's you against everybody at every single station.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not even worth listening.
It's just really disheartening.
So there we go. So please, local radio stations, hire us to help you figure out your radio now that we've completely slammed everything you do. Because remember, we like you. We just don't like anything that you do or anything about you. But you're all right.
Yeah, it's not personal.
So, and the other part is, and you didn't even get into this part, because I'm just going to assuming it was just as bad in Vegas and everywhere else that you worked as it was here. And this is no fault of the program directors. I don't blame them because most of these clusters are owned by giant corporations anymore.
True.
The pay was awful. Just terrible.
It was awful.
Yeah. It was great for a part-time job. Like for me as a part-time person,
yeah.
I had no complaints.
Yeah.
A full-time person,
you couldn't have
you had to be on food stamps.
Yeah.
How are you you're at a full-time job and you still qualify for food stamps? Come on, man.
No, I think everyone that I worked with, including myself, they had to have either a significant other or a spouse who had an actual job. And this was more of like, grocery money.
Or what the kids call it, they had a side hustle.
They had a side hustle. And then
by the way, that whole full-time job qualifying for food stamps, I don't actually know anybody personally that had to do that in radio, but knowing the little bit that I know, it would not have surprised me if that was the case.
Everyone that I worked with had to have someone else who was making the actual money, especially if they were a family. There's no way you can survive on that salary. And that's just, like, I think back in the day, you liked the perks, like you liked getting VHS copies of David Bryan's piano playing skills.
How to be a rock star.
Or, whatever free CDs they might have had. And yes, CDs are a medium where music would be exchanged on a round disc thing before they were just spliced into
They were things. There were things that you used to play music, and
Yeah.
not, as Frank Turner says, just another clean place to do my drugs.
Right. Exactly. So, what have we learned today? Radio is horrible. We're the only ones who can save it.
Yeah.
So is that pretty much in a nutshell?
In a nutshell, that's what people should walk away from this from, is that we love radio. Mm-hmm. We just hate everything about it right now.
Yes. We love it, but it needs
and we can
to be
save it
taken
for
out to the backyard and shot.
Yes, we can save it for you. You just have to destroy everything you think you know about it.
So
give us the keys to the.
We're appealing to a very specific audience now. Program directors of radio stations, please let us fix your station.
I remember arguing with somebody on a message board once. I think you were part of this, about things that were going on at radio stations. And the one person, I can't even say the one guy, I don't know if it was male or the person was male or female, or however they identified, posted, well, if you know so much, how come you aren't a program director? And I posted back, because you won't hire me to be one.
But trust me, it would be so much cooler.
But if, and honestly, if they made me a program director in the way that it is set up,
yeah, it wouldn't be that.
I would have more than likely had no choice but to do it that way too. Because at the end, we all want to be artists. We all want to do this fun stuff and talk about all the fun, cool things that we're going to do and play music for people. And I want them to have that feeling about radio that I had. That's what I'm trying to get across to everybody, to do.
Yeah.
But at the end, I have to pay my house payment too, like everybody else at some point.
Exactly. You have to be able to afford my boots.
Yeah, my boots, which we will get to. And that's why I got out of radio, is because my, third child came along, and it became not fair to everybody in the family that I worked a full-time job, and then I went and worked a part-time job, which it's not that I was working a part-time job, but the hours were super inconvenient.
Yeah, right.
So I had to put it on hold until pretty much now. This is probably the closest I'm going to get to working in radio for maybe ever. Hopefully not, but maybe ever.
I'm happy to be on the journey with you.
Yeah. Like I said in our first episode, if we get 10 people to listen to this, 10 people we don't know.
I was just going to say, I think I know 10 people.
Right. I know 10 people. We could probably get 20 people to subscribe, to post that they love it. But if we get 10 people that we don't know, I will totally consider this a success.
I agree. That's the challenge.
And build from there as 10 people.
So if you
I feel like it's multi-level marketing. So if we get 10 people, Matt, you get 10 people and I get 10 people. And then we get those 10 people to go get 10 people.
Yes.
Like, we'll make them diamond level subscribers to, I think that's a level.
What will we have to do for them? What sort of privilege do they get?
Nothing. Privilege of knowing us.
Cool.
I mean, right now, what do we have to give them? Nothing. Our wisdom.
Who would want
our words? Give them hours and hours of strong banter.
We'll talk more off podcast to them at length whenever they want. That's what.
Yeah. If this isn't enough of our talking, you can sign up for our Patreon and listen to us talk some more.
Yeah, Matt.
And maybe it'll be about something you want to hear.
John Bon Jovi again.
Again.
And again.
I have discovered, speaking of John Bon Jovi, I have discovered a lot of music I like, whether I realize it or not, at least as of lately, comes out of like the New Jersey area. And even over time.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't say I was the biggest Bruce Springsteen fan.
Yeah.
But I did listen to a lot of Bruce Springsteen. And I won't lie like other people will. I listened to a lot of Bon Jovi. I did. There was a period of time where Bon Jovi was the thing. He still is in certain circles.
Yes.
But the original Bon Jovi, they had a very big moment in the sun.
Oh, yeah. I know people who still regularly quote Bon Jovi lyrics.
I do it. You can just say it's me.
And it's not you, actually.
I think I know who you're talking. I think I might know who you're talking about, but
you know this person, so yeah, you probably know.
yeah. So, but also like one of my most favorite bands of the past, we'll say 15 years now, has been the Gaslight Anthem, and they're out of New Jersey area. And Brian Fallon, who is their lead singer, his solo stuff, I've seen him twice solo. Yeah. He's great. Yeah. Benny Horowitz, the drummer, I listened to his podcast that he's part of, Going Off Track.
Yeah.
I'm part of their Patreon. I mean, for crying out loud.
I don't even know what
the Misfits. Means. I love the Misfits, the Bouncing Souls. There's just so much stuff that came out of that area that I had no idea when I was, starting to like all this stuff.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
That it was, but it kind of makes sense. You grew up in mid-Michigan too.
Right.
Or so you tell me.
Is New Jersey a genre?
No, culturally, though, it's similar to where we grew up. It's very working class.
Yeah.
It's very much factories and mom and dad get up and punch the clock. It's, I guess it's Rust Belt, Midwestern, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of hope and anger and stuff that goes
hold on to what we got.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
Slipping on. Jeez.
After we're done recording, you can tell me who I'm talking about.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I know exactly who it is. But I realize there's a lot of New Jersey things that, and I think I've driven through New Jersey. I've never been to New Jersey on purpose that I'm aware of.
I have. I saw Duran Duran in New Jersey.
What? When?
Yes, I did. Not actually. Well, I would love to say it was in the 80s, but it was actually, 4 years ago.
Still cool.
It was 3 years ago. It was 3 years ago. I brought both boys with me, one of which was an infant. So he had little earplugs on, but it was Duran Duran and Chic was the opening band. It was a show. It was fun. It was really fun. But they
and I got to imagine that Duran Duran, if I remember, it's still, if not all of a vast majority of the original members.
Yeah, it is. It is. They're amazing. And that's another podcast that we can talk about, my infamous celebrity that involves Duran Duran. But yeah, it was a good show. So I've only been in New Jersey to go there into the aquarium. So it wasn't a big, I'm
like it's not just somebody's aquarium. It was like an actual aquarium.
It was a public aquarium, but I didn't go like to clubbing or anything. So I don't know too much about the Jersey.
I do want to go to the Stone Pony.
That would be good. Yeah.
And because a lot of groups that I like out of like they do lots of summer things there. It's probably like a cool touristy thing now. And it's not like the cool thing like it was back in the day.
I'll come visit and we'll drive up.
Because I'm old now, so everything that was cool back in the day is now like a summer money cash grab. Right. But I'm okay with that.
We'll get the
I have money to give them cash for, so we could do it.
All right.
But yeah, no, I would be down for that. I would love to go, especially to the Stone Pony, especially if it's somebody I know who's playing. I think that would be a very cool thing.
Yeah, that would make it a little more memorable if it was a band we've heard of.
And another fun New Jersey connection, actually, this has to do with the Gaslight Anthem too. I hope maybe one day somebody from these bands listen and just gives me a thumbs up on Instagram or something. That would make my day. But so there's another artist. He's out of England. His name's Frank Turner.
Yep. I've heard you mention him before. Yes.
He fronts Frank Turner and the Sleeping Souls. He's a solo artist. He was actually the lead singer of a band called Millions Dead, which was like a, kind of a hardcore, metal,
like it.
Very heavy band.
Mm-hmm.
He's also the lead singer of his punk side project called Mongol Horde, who are fantastic. But we actually got to go meet him in Detroit.
Okay.
My girlfriend bought me concert tickets. Frank Turner was opening up for Flogging Molly. Nice. It was actually Flogging Molly, Frank Turner, and Chuck Reagan, who's the lead singer of Hot Water Music, great as a solo artist also. And he had just had a book come out, Frank Turner did, and he was doing a book signing. And I just dumb luck, happened to find this on the internet that he was going to be playing solo at a library in the greater Detroit area. So I bought tickets to this thing for me and my girlfriend, and you know him as my buddy Kyle.
Right? Yes, I do.
We all the three of us went. My girlfriend's name is Amy, which will be important at the next part of this story.
Okay.
So we go to the library. There's might be 30, 40 people in there total. And he comes in and he sits down and with his acoustic guitar and he plays songs, and he's like, all right, I'll take requests, but I'm not playing any songs that I'm going to play at the concert tonight because, I have a set list and I want you guys to come to the show tonight. I have my full band, the Sleeping Souls. So there's certain songs I'm just not going to play here because I'm playing them tonight. So
fair enough.
Everybody cool? They're like, all cool. So he's asking, people are making requests and everything. And I didn't make a request because I'm just like, I'm like starstruck looking. I'm like, oh my God, he's only like 30 feet from me, And
if only I could touch the hem of his garment.
Oh, we're getting there.
Okay.
So he does his thing. I buy the book. I buy the book for me. I buy the book for my buddy Kyle. I'm just so happy. I'm just like buying things for people.
Yeah.
So we get in line to get him signed, right?
Yeah.
He's going to sign him. So Amy and I are standing in line. Kyle's behind us. So we get up, we get our chance. We get up to meet him, and I'm just gushing. Just ridiculous. I hug him. I like leech on him. And Amy's like, I didn't think you were going to let go. I was like, I didn't want to. Didn't want to. But I told him, I was like, hey, I love your music. The standard things everybody says when they get to meet. And a lot of people say you never want to meet your idols because they're going to let you down. Totally didn't. He was fantastic.
That's awesome.
And I was like, can you sign the book to me and Amy? Because we were there together. And he's like, he stops. And he's like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I didn't write those. Those songs were not actually about a girl with your name, because there's a character Amy in a lot of his songs, but he's using that name instead of the actual person's name. So we got a laugh out of that. And she's like, no, because of course you're not. Ha ha ha. But it was cool that he said that. Like he's like, you made that connection.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I had a Gaslight Anthem shirt on.
Okay.
And he's like, they're in the book. Cool guys. They took me out in New York.
Wow.
Gave him a hug, took a picture, and I moved on. And I was just like, all right, my day can end. I'm great. We don't have to go to the concert tonight. I'm good. We can just go home. I'm happy as a pig in shit. How can today get better? But it did.
What?
And this is more or less maybe a personal thing, just because I thought it was funny, because my buddy Kyle is not a hugger.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
What does Frank Turner do? Kyle's right behind us in line with the book to get signed.
Yeah.
Turns around, big hug.
Wow.
Kyle, stiff as a board.
Wow.
That just made the second part of my day, because I just laughed, took the picture and everything.
That's fantastic. That's amazing. And it's
then we went to the show later that night. That's my New Jersey to Frank Turner, back to New Jersey, back to me connection.
See, when I went to see Duran Duran, I went sort of kind of hoping that I would get called up on stage too, and asked to sing a few bars or something, but none of that happened. I didn't meet them. They didn't say, in the audience tonight is Matt Kennedy. They didn't say anything. So I felt left.
He does know her name is Rio and she dances in the sand. Matt, please come up here and let everybody know how much you know.
I thought they would at least mention that I created their holiday. I thought that would get some sort of a
what?
Attaboy. Did you not know this?
No, I didn't know this. You created a holiday. How did I not know this?
All right, buddy.
I know things about you that I probably shouldn't know, but this I don't know.
Do we have time for this?
We have time for this. We paid for all of the unlimited cover. Talk all you want.
So this is a radio related story, and it'll be
all right,
relatively quick. So
mine was not radio related. It was just me wanting to talk about myself.
I was working at the radio station up in Michigan, and we got sent to us at the station a little thing from Chase's calendar of events. And it was like, hey, do you guys have any events, any calendar events that you would like to be published in our annual event calendar, any sort of things you do every year that you want to be recorded for all the world to know about. Chase's calendar of events. And I said, well, this is an opportunity. So
I'm not missing this one.
So I happened to be watching in the studio that I worked at. It was in a mall, and on one side was all glass looking out to the mall, and on the other side there were some TVs across the top. Which were,
by the way, pause. An aside, I would really like to talk about at some point in time, not today, the death of malls and what you and I can do to save them. Right. That's another thing. That's mental Rolodex.
We'll put a pin in that. Okay.
Yeah. Back to your story.
So when we were there, we often had 3 or 4 TVs on so we could see what current events were going on, and it would give us stuff to talk about. And so I was watching in very low volume. I was watching a Duran Duran concert. They were sort of reunited. I mean, it was sometime in the 90s because it wasn't in the peak, certainly, of Duran Duran frenzy, but I was amazed at how good they all still were performing live, 10, 15 years after their prime. And I was just like, man, Duran Duran just brings it. And they are such
professional musicians.
They really are. And I think maybe I'm more impressed because their type of music is kind of a young man's genre. And so I was just like impressed that they could still do it and put it out there,
It's a definite period of time. Like if you talk about the people who listen to it or the people who perform it, it definitely has its, like I said about Bon Jovi, it has its moment in the sun.
But they made it sound fresh. And when I went and saw them 3 years ago, they were awesome. I didn't feel like I was at some sort of revival, thing. It felt good and it was fun. So I was sitting there on the air listening to Duran Duran, and I actually played a Duran Duran song on the radio. And so I was like, you know what? I'm writing something up about Duran Duran Appreciation Day. So I wrote a little paragraph, Duran Duran Appreciation Day for the band that, really doesn't get the credit they deserve for being amazing after all these years and having such a, iconic sound and blah, blah, blah.
I mean, they did put Girls on film. So
they did indeed.
We owe them that.
Yep. So I picked my birthday for the date, and so I would remember it, and I sent it off and didn't think much of it. And a year later, around my birthday, I got a phone call at the radio station saying, hey, we'd like to talk to you about Duran Duran Appreciation Day. And I'm like, you what? And it was
Pardon me?
It was some magazine. It was a national magazine. Like, it was someone that I thought, well, you're messing with me.
Was it the Digest?
No, it was like, I want to say Cosmo, but I don't think it was Cosmo. It was like Vogue or one of those. It was big, though. It was a big magazine that shouldn't have been calling a local radio station in Michigan. But I was like, yeah, you can, what do you want to know? And they asked me, what made you come up with it? And I kind of told them a little bit of the story, and it ended up in that magazine. Like, I got the issue. I didn't keep it, unfortunately. But I was just like, oh my gosh, this is taking on a life of its own. But then
you didn't keep that magazine, dude. You keep every magazine.
I know, right?
Don't you have like every Maxim magazine ever printed?
So there's a trunk in the UP that has a lot of my magazines in it, and I don't know that it's in any good shape, but it might.
What was the other one you had? People I'm Not This Week magazine?
Yeah, it was
Entertainment
Weekly. Yeah, right. So anyway, years later, not thinking about it, and I don't know why. I think Duran Duran released a new album, and they released the first single on Duran Duran Appreciation Day. And I was like, hey, I started that. And so then I started looking around, and it's literally celebrated every year by the band. All their fans on my birthday. Fans write about it. They're like,
shut up.
It is an international holiday. I'm not kidding.
I feel like I'm not being a very good friend. I had no idea this ever happened.
Well, because I didn't really think about it a lot until I only started thinking about it again, like recently over the last 4 or 5 years, because like I thought, well, I wonder, and I looked it up, and it's a phenomenon. Like, they talk about it. They post things on their website every Duran Duran Appreciation Day, and they thank their fans and blah, 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 blah. And then there was all this kind of this subculture of what made them choose that day and blah, blah, blah. And people would write these stories about, oh, Simon Le Bon was in a boating accident in August 10th, and he was.
And you're like, no.
Yeah. So I felt like, well, okay, I kind of was fine keeping a low profile, but now I don't want people to think it started because of a boating accident. That's ridiculous. I would rather it be my birthday.
Let's be honest.
I know.
I started it. It's not a boating accident.
I'm not looking for fame. I just don't want the story to be screwed up, you know? And I don't, and so.
I feel like that, you know, if people still did a thing like this day in rock history.
Yeah.
Like that's a thing. Like this day in rock history.
Yes.
Mad Kennedy started Duran Duran Appreciation Day.
Yes. So it exists. And it is celebrated by Duranis across the world.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Is that what you guys call yourself, Duranis?
And you know, part of the time I'm thinking, I'm not even that big of a fan. Like, I like them, but yeah, if I had to go back in time and choose a different band to start an international holiday, it wouldn't have probably been them. I just didn't think it would get anywhere, and now it has. So, cut to 3 years ago when we go see them in concert, I won the tickets from a radio station, and I told the guy on the radio, I actually started Duran Duran Appreciation Day, so it's really fortuitous that I won these free tickets. And he was like, oh, cool. Didn't give me any more. Yeah, that was it. And that didn't even get on the air. Like, that was...
He probably didn't even believe you. He's like, whatever, this guy's lying.
Probably not. But I thought there was like this sliver of like hope in the back of my head, like, when that radio guy goes and you know, talks to the management of Duran Duran and says, oh yeah, I gave away your tickets. Funny, this guy, he created Duran Duran Appreciation Day. He's going to be there. You should say something. And then I just thought, wouldn't that be cool if they called me out? But they didn't.
Oh,
I know.
I feel like that we should be able to get this somehow to them one way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty big international music, you know, touring artists still.
So the fan club, the captain or president of the fan club sent me a bunch of bumper stickers, Duran Duran bumper stickers. That was something I got a couple years ago. But that's it. And again, I'm not asking for celebrity. Like, I certainly don't want my name everywhere saying this was the guy. I just... You know,
a postcard from Simon Le Bon would be nice.
It's good to just have a little attaboy. Hey, thanks for thinking of us, guys. You know,
thanks for doing that. That was a pretty nice thing that you did for us. And you didn't have to. I mean, you were a celebrity in your own right in your local radio market.
I don't even know if now in the super hyper information life that we live in now, if anything like that would have legs. Like, I don't know that it would get anywhere. I think it would be forgotten, lost in the shuffle, you know? But
probably.
At the right time, people were still reading magazines. People were still, you know, looking at a calendar of events. There was internet, but it wasn't like pervasive. It wasn't like on everyone's phones, really. And you had to actually pay for a calendar, and it sat on your desk, and you'd leaf through and say, oh, what's going on today? Huh, Duran Duran Appreciation Day. I'll be darned. So,
dude, speaking of calendars, I walked through a mall today, which was weird. I had done that in a very long time.
Did they open it just for you?
It was me and about 30 other people.
Okay.
This giant mall. No, there was more than that, but not a lot. I mean, oh, dude, malls are just scary now what they used to be. That's a different story for a different time. Mm-hmm. But where I'm making the connection here is there is still a place. Now, it's only a kiosk now that just sells calendars.
Yeah,
paper calendars.
I used to get my wife the same exact calendar every year for.
She's like, Matthew.
Yeah,
it's not 1998 anymore. You didn't need to buy 20 of these damn things.
Well, I mean, it's not the exact same. It was just a year. So, like, I would get the 2020 version or the 2021 version or whatever. But every year, I would get her the exact same one for probably 10 years until I realized, all right, I need to up my game a little bit. This is kind of lame.
I'm glad it took you 10 years to figure that out.
I'm slow, but I figure it out eventually.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're still married, so kudos to you.
Exactly. So I must be doing something right.
Must be doing it wasn't your
necessarily
calendar game that was keeping this thing going.
Right. It might not be my gift giving, but it's in some other department. We'll leave that.
Right. So I actually have a story kind of similar to your Duran Duran one, but we're not gonna. It has to do with Henry Rollins, and you know part of it.
Okay.
You don't know all of it though.
Okay.
But we're gonna save that for another time because I don't want to blow our wad completely on.
I like that this is a teaser because that means there are people listening, and I say that earnestly. There are people listening who are going to say, "Well, what? He's not going to tell us? We have to listen to episode 3?" Oh yeah. You have to listen to episode 3.
Maybe 4, because I'm old, and if I forget to talk about it in episode 3, it might go all the way to 4 or 5.
Episode 3 will be all about David Bryan, and we won't even get to Henry Rollins. That's what's going to happen.
Somewhere David Bryan's ears are ringing, and it's not from years of being on stage with Bon Jovi.
No, they're ringing because the perm is tickling them.
The perm is tickling. Oh, man. But we would be remiss if we didn't, close out our program with talking about my new boots.
Yes. I'm so glad we get to hear the story here.
Yeah, it's super exciting, everybody. So buckle up. Here we go. So the other day,
your own boots. You purchased these. These are not a gift.
Oh, right? I bought these myself with my own hard-earned money
in an actual store, or did you order
in an actual store in Birch Run, Michigan?
Did you put? I don't care. In one of those foot things.
Foot in what? Oh, like the measuring thing?
Yeah.
No, dude, I'm 45. I know how big my feet are.
All right.
Which actually, in this story, I start out not knowing how big my feet are, and it'll make sense in a minute.
All right.
Okay. So I will start this with, I haven't bought myself a pair of non-work related boots maybe ever.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Personally, I've had boots in my life that were non-work related. It was when I was younger, like snow boots, some hiking boots that my mom bought me that I just had to have. And then I hated wearing them because they were a real big pain in the ass to lace up.
Oh,
and you couldn't get them tight enough.
Yes.
And so I rued the day that I had to have these certain hiking boots.
Right.
And then I think my next pair of boots were my dad's old combat boots because I was that kid. I had, an old army jacket, ripped up jeans, combat boots. Mm-hmm. I was Christian Slater in Pump Up the Volume. Happy Hard on Harry, which is also funny because my dad's name's Harry.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Anyways, we're getting off track here.
Yeah. Okay.
So, first pair of boots I bought for myself, probably that aren't work related, because I've had steel toe work related boots for various construction, light construction, and type jobs throughout the years. Mm-hmm. So I go to the first store to try some boots on. It happened to be a certain Urban Outfitter type store. Well, it was Columbia. I'll just say who it was. It doesn't matter.
Nobody's Urban Outfitters.
Yeah, it wasn't Urban Outfitters. I've never been to an Urban Outfitters. I wouldn't know it if I walked by it unless it had a sign on it.
All right.
So we go into the Columbia store, and I'm looking to buy some boots because I'm like, I want some boots, but I want them to be good for walking the dog, because I live in suburbia, so walking the dog is a big thing.
So
just a euphemism, kids. Out walking the dog every night, and tennis shoes. Although I have very nice tennis shoes, you get cold in the wintertime.
Okay,
but I didn't want them too insulated because I needed to be able to wear them in the spring. Lots of things to consider.
Oh yeah, multiple factors. Yeah,
price being one of them. Didn't want to spend too much. I mean, I'm not poor, but I'm not rich, so
I waste money on boots. Why waste it?
Yeah, I got to buy a nice middle class boot, right?
Yeah, right.
So we go to, and I did not realize my foot was fat. The rest of me, I have a mirror, so I know full well that the rest of me is fat. But my feet, I don't look at those in the mirror. I didn't realize those were fat too. So I go into the store. I try on some boots. Holy cow. It was like somebody put a vice on my toes. And these are the size of my foot.
Yeah.
This is my foot. This is the size of my foot is.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to go up in size, because if you have ever bought shoes in your life and you buy shoes that are too big, you will know
not comfortable
that you'll get blisters, or your heel will start to hurt.
Yep.
Which is initially what led me to realize I needed to buy some new shoes, because my running shoes I bought are a half size too big. So I had blisters.
So you really don't know what size your foot is.
See, I didn't. To start the story, I did not know how big my foot was. Figured it out, trial and error. It was a little painful, but now I know how big my foot is.
Okay.
Didn't have to put it in the sizing thing.
All right.
So then we go to the next store, which I was avoiding. Because to buy these type of shoes means generally you're a person of a certain age now.
Oh, no.
They're not Dr. Scholl's.
They're orthopedic.
They're not orthopedic yet. It's coming, though. I can feel it.
Nurses' shoes?
I bought Nursemates. Yes, that's the shoes I bought as Nursemates to walk my dog in my suburban neighborhood. My dog is a little white, fluffy dog. It's about the manliest dog you can own. 5 pounds of anger and white fur.
Yeah.
I've sent you pictures. He's an angry little white puffball.
Is he sitting right next to you right now?
Nope. Actually, the cat is.
All right.
She's angry too, but for a whole different reason. So I go to this store. It's Skechers. Mm-hmm. I remember. I'm old enough to remember that when Skechers first came out, they were like they were kind of an alternative to Doc Martens.
Yeah.
So they were like cool, kind of cool. I don't know if they've ever really been cool, but they kind of initially had like a cool factor to them. Like, oh, you have Skechers. Oh, Skechers.
Yep.
Now you can get them at every department store in the known universe. Skechers, and they're 2 salespeople that they put up there that people are supposed to look up to and want to buy shoes because they see these folks are Howie Long from Fox NFL.
Oh,
he's like 10, 15 years my senior,
right?
And Brooke Burke. You know who Brooke Burke is.
Okay, sure. Both people that I would say, I bet they wear some pretty good shoes.
Yeah, if I'm looking for shoes, I need to go for what Howie Long and Brooke Burke wear.
Not one or the other. I need to know where the Venn diagram of shoes meets between those.
Yeah, where does this meet? Where these 2 people, those are the shoes I got to get. Because they have arch support, they make stuff like go walk,
Brooke Burke,
everything that screams middle age. Like you might try to run, buddy, but you just need to go walk.
Yes.
Your knees aren't what they used to be. Your arches are kind of falling. You're just not who you used to be.
I don't think Howie Long runs anymore. He walks. I think it's safe to say he's still in decent shape, but he's not running. He's walking.
Oh yeah. And it's like it's yeah. So I was like, I don't want to buy some Skechers. I don't, because in my head it means, oh, now I need what's next after Skechers? Orthopedic shoes. So I go in and
give up on life shoes.
Shut up. There's a joke in there. Isn't it funny though that give up on life pants are like the pants everybody wears now? So I was just way ahead of my time.
Yeah. Yep.
Those are sweats, everybody, or as you call them today, joggers.
Yes.
God, we're getting into angry middle-aged guy section of the program now. We're just going to listen to Jason bitch about things.
We need to know what boots you ended up with.
All right. We're getting to what boots I ended up with, for crying out loud. So I go in, I walk around the Skechers outlet.
You reluctantly are looking for boots at Skechers.
Yeah. Secretly inside, I'm like, wow, these shoes look really comfortable, and I probably will enjoy them, and my feet won't hurt, and I won't get a blister. On the outside, I'm still, trying to be cool, and I'm like, my Skechers. What I want some Vans.
There you go.
I want some Airwalks, some Chucks. Even though I own Vans and I love them, excuse me there. But after about 45 minutes of walking through a store wearing them, I might as well put 2 boards on the bottom of my feet.
Right.
It's about the same feeling.
No support at all.
But they look cool. That's the point. So I'm in there and I'm like looking at the boots, and Amy's looking around, being very supportive as she always is with my weird ass out there doing what I do. And I'm looking and finally I was like, oh, I was going to, I pull this one. Oh, I was going to try those on. Those ones there, they don't look too bad. I was going to try them on, but they don't have my size.
Ah, okay.
And I'm looking on. There's like the row of shoes you look at, and then they put the shoe boxes underneath them, right?
Yep.
She's like, did you look up there? I was like, oh, damn it. There's shoes above it, too.
Of course.
Son of a bitch. Oh, there's even my size. Well, shit. Okay. she's like, and they're way up there, right? She's like, well, we need to get an associate to get it on. I was like, all right, hold on a second. I got this. So I'm just tall enough that I can play it cool. And I like slide them out. They're like they're like 6 boxes up. It goes like 3, 3, and 3. Mm-hmm. So they're on the second set of 3. So I like put my hand in there and I like slide it off like it's a big pizza plate. And I'm like holding them. And I'm like, see, I still got it. I can take all these boxes down. I'm not a Skechers guy.
I'm not a Skechers guy yet.
So we take the boxes down and I go to put them. I almost lose it putting the 2 boxes back up. So I had to do that one at a time because I'm good, but I'm not that good. So I put one up and then I put the other one on top of it. So we're good. They all get back because I'm not that jerk at a store who just knocks everything down and leaves it there for the associates because that's just a dick move. Don't do that.
Right.
So we open it up. I try them on. And I'm happy and pissed at the same time.
Was there like a spotlight that shone down on it when you put it on? Like
no, thank God. No, because there was other men of a certain age in the store going through the exact same emotional turmoil I was, realizing they're just not what they used to be, but they still kind of are. Anyways, so I try them on, and like I said, I was pissed and happy at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch, they fit right away.
And they were comfortable.
And
you were like, now my only play is I'm gonna have to.
And they were like,
I don't want to shop anymore. These will do. But you love.
Yes, yes. You know the move. That's the move right there. Like, all right, these will do. No, do you want to try those? No, I don't want to try those on. They're good enough.
They're fine.
They're fine. Exactly. They're fine.
And then you
inside, I'm like,
dance out of the store.
These are comfortable. They're going to be great for walking the dog in my nice, suburban neighborhood that I'm walking on concrete. I probably don't need boots anyways, but got to get the boots. And so I bought my first pair of Skechers boots, and they're like nice looking, but they're like dad nice looking. Like no 18-year-old in his right mind is buying these and being like, hey, look at me. Aren't these dope? Or whatever cool word we use now.
This episode of X Radio X brought to you reluctantly by Skechers.
I guess they're fine.
I'm tired of shopping. They'll do. Skechers. They'll do.
Now, I'm sorry, Skechers Company. You know it. I know it. Your lead advertising icon is Howie Long. He's older than me, so you know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. Everybody knows what you're doing. You're making millions of dollars off it. So my little griping about it, I still bought the shoes. They're fine.
They're fine.
They're fine.
You got really loud there.
They're actually very comfortable, and I've worn them the past 2 days. I've worn them out shopping to other places, and they're comfortable. They're nice. I like them, and it's just funnier if I bitch about it because I really did go through. This sounds so sad. Like that was my emotional turmoil. Was like, oh my God, I'm so unlucky that I can afford a pair of nice boots to wear around my nice neighborhood, to walk my nice dog. Oh, woe is me. Shut up.
Yeah. It feels good to get it out though, right?
Yeah. So there you go. Me bitching about my charmed life there.
Your vocal got really loud there.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, I don't know why. Something changed. You got super loud.
I did not change anything. I guess since you're our master editor, you can fix that in post.
All right.
So there it is, folks. Matt, did you buy any boots that we need to hear about?
No, but once again, I'd like to thank Skechers for hosting this episode of the podcast.
That's right, folks. When you need shoes that are just fine, go get some Skechers.
If you're tired of shopping, try Skechers.
We are so... Yeah, if this ever got semi-popular, we might be in a little hot water for this. Or Skechers might go, we get it. Yeah. They're fine.
He liked the shoes. He liked them. Ultimately, he was happy with his purchase. So
listen to the end of the story, everybody. He enjoyed the shoes. His personal hangups are not our problem.
We know how people think of us. We're good. He liked them. We're happy. Yeah.
I did look on their website though. They do have some pretty nice looking running shoes though. I don't know, like I'm an occasional runner. So I don't know what hardcore runners would think of it, but for the little bit I know about running shoes, they look like they're pretty legit and nice. The price is the same, so they've got to be in the ballpark. So I'll give them credit for that one.
What is that?
So oh, you didn't. That is my nice Christmas clock that hangs in the studio, otherwise known as the family room.
Oh.
Yeah, it plays "Oh Christmas Tree" at midnight.
I guess that's our cue.
Hello?
Hi. I guess that's our cue to wrap up.
Yeah, it probably is. We should probably get the show on the road and wrap this up. So everybody, thanks for coming along with us for this. I don't know when we cut it down what it'll be, but for this hour or two.
Swipe left. Like us.
Yeah, like us.
Facebook.
Go to our Patreon, our Instagram that I'm building. Maybe we'll be on Facebook at some point in time. I don't know if we'll be on Twitter because I don't even have an account there. You can follow us. Hopefully it'll be at xradiox.instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, Venmo.com. I don't know. I'm still learning how all this stuff works. So just go out and find us.
All right. Well,
like us, tell a friend, have them tell a friend, and we'll be grateful. We appreciate it.
Until next time, I'm Matt.
I'm Jason.
Have a great night.